neck versus neck. Let's go. God, this is fucking intense! God, this is fucking intense!
This is the Dan Levatar Show with the Stugatz Podcast.
The return of Uncle Fatty. Get one.
Cops.
Actually leaving. The numbers show it. All of you that Freud with that. I don't even know what you're talking about there.
Yeah, Edith and Archie. Oh, you want me to sing it?
Yeah. You felt moved to tears by and they said, give us some Red Fox. And that's what he did right here.
Stugatz, do you know any themes like off the top of your head? Like you're a big Full House guy. Like, Seinfeld theme's actually pretty good, by the way. Curb Your Enthusiasm, also a great theme.
Yeah.
Do you know like the Full House theme?
No, I don't.
Whatever happened to predictability?
Oh, that's right.
The milkman, the paperboy, the evening TV. You miss all your familiar friends there, waiting just around the bend. Everywhere you look. Everywhere there's a heart.
Boy, turn off the microphones. Turn them off. Thank you.
Welcome back.
To find us on a station near you, visit espn.com/ESPN Radio and click the station locator tab. Dan Levatard.
What is the most pathetic you've felt moved to tears by something inanimate in the movies, like a robot or E.T.?
Wilson.
Really, a volleyball?
Wilson.
That's
When
a pretty
he
good
loses
nomination.
Wilson.
I mean, but gosh, I didn't feel anything.
First to say that I have McGregor in a knockout.
Hooker, are we allowed to? It makes the guy who's not a boxer. That's my analysis. What?
Great breakdown.
What are we doing?
There was a writer from Modern Family that tweeted this out. His name is Beavis Simpson. Conor versus Mayweather will once and for all settle the classic debate. Who is the best at boxing, a professional boxer or someone else?
I can't believe that Conor McGregor with his mouth made all of this happen. He is going to make so much money fighting a guy, and it's actually going to end up being less dangerous than what he does for a living because Floyd doesn't knock anybody out.
I guess that's the sport, right? Where your mouth could pay off that big, right? Like the payoff is massive for him just for having a great personality and a big mouth.
It makes me wonder why more guys in sports don't behave that way. Because if they did, there's money in it. Can you only do it in the fighting sports? Can you only beat Chael Sonnen? Chael Sonnen kept getting title fights with his mouth. Like, can you not do that in team sports?
Well, because in team sports, there's always someone coming for your job. Like, look at Freddie Mitchell. Like, he was talking, then out of the league, like, a couple of years later.
Like, Barkley's mouth didn't start paying off for him until after his career, right?
No, it was, I mean,
he was a rare example.
He's rare. I just don't understand why more guys don't take that path, because there's so much money in it.
Hello,
to be the guy who's not antiseptic, the guy who's willing to be polarizing. Really, all you have to do is be willing to be someone who isn't going to be liked by everybody. And as Kevin Durant and LeBron James have shown, there is no circumstance under which you're going to be liked by everybody. Michael Jordan wasn't liked by everybody until he beat everybody. That was after the fact. Muhammad Ali wasn't liked by everybody. Made him a lot of money in his mouth, but he wasn't liked by everybody until he couldn't speak anymore. Michael Jordan, while it was happening, was not. It became Be Like Mike when he started winning everything.
Correct, right. But it was not the case while he was winning.
It's not the case all those years before he started getting to the finals, however many years that was where he was flailing.
Nothing in life is free. Time for some ads.
I just don't get it. I guess you can. I mean, Tom Brady's not liked by everybody, right?
No.
Jeter wasn't liked by everybody, and they're trying very hard to be liked by everybody. They were liked by the majority.
Jeter was close, yeah. Brady, no.
Don Le Batard.
Oscar Robinson had 41 triple-doubles back in 61-62. 41.
Stugats.
It's Robertson, but...
Big O.
Okay, but...
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio.
We've got some developing news here, so forgive me for not being entirely informed here as it comes in. Louisville, the suspensions and the penalties have come down from the NCAA for Louisville's hooker scandal. What's the proper term? Is it prostitute scandal, hooker? Are we allowed to use both of those terms?
Prostitution scandal.
I just love the idea in college sports of a prostitution scandal. So it's 4 years of probation. Rick Pitino is getting 5 games, five ACC games. What else are we learning here? Are they having wins vacated because they dabbled in sex? What a great scandal this is.
Well, they're vacating the record from 2010 to 2014. What makes that kind of interesting is one of those seasons was a championship season of 2012-2013, and we don't have clarity yet as to whether or not they're going to strip Louisville of that national championship. If they do, Pat Forty, who's tweeting about this right now, Yahoo Sports, is saying if they do, they won't give it to Michigan. They'll just won't be a national champion for that particular year.
That is a really flawed penalty system. As with many of the injustices in college sports, that is such a flawed penalty system that you can't actually take away the championship. You can vacate the wins from a book somewhere, but those kids played in that game, and those games were won, and you could try and take them away because future kids had sex, but go and try and take them individually from the kids who have those rings.
Right. If you were the runner-up, though, and the NCAA came to you and said, hey, you're now the national champions, like 5 years later, would you want it? Would you take it? Because I would.
You would, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You'd have a big ring ceremony.
Yeah.
You'd celebrate it. You'd get to the microphone. I'd like to thank Louisville for having a prostitution scandal. I'd like to thank Rick Pitino for being a lusty vampire. So one thing, Stugats, that I tweeted while I was on vacation, well, actually two things, is I tweeted the face of Paul Feinbaum. You lost the bet, the Cavs, by losing. You have to look like Paul Feinbaum. We're going to put you in a tie, glasses. Hopefully we will enlarge your ears a little bit, and also we're going to cut your hair in the cul-de-sac that is atop Paul Feinbaum's head.
You tweeted that out. It's also the only text you sent me the entire time you were away. That one text with that one picture.
That's Tuesday. Stugats will be doing that next Tuesday. We're going to shave his head here with much ceremony so that he looks like Paul Feinbaum. But I sent one other thing out, and it got people so mad. So people just fighting. This is what I wrote. One of LeBron's many lasting legacies is going to be the absurd thing Golden State had to build to end him. And this got people arguing on two sides. One, that LeBron's not that good. That they would have beaten him without Durant. And two, and this is going to be worth monitoring over the next couple of years, how obnoxious the Golden State fan base becomes. So many Golden State fans are yelling, why is it absurd? Why does it have to be an absurd thing? Did you not watch it? Did you not see who you added? Do you know how hard it is? When LeBron and Kyrie play that way, that team throughout the history of that sport always wins the championship. Always. Throughout the history of the sport, if two guys play like that and that team wasn't even close. Like, imagine Michael Jordan at the height of his powers putting up. LeBron just had a better series than Michael Jordan ever did in a final.
Yep, triple-double.
And he got smoked.
Mm-hmm. I mean, 5 games.
He got smoked playing better statistically than anyone has ever played in the final.
How is calling them absurd anything but a compliment?
Well, watch Golden State fans. Well, we built this the right way. What'd we do? We only added one free agent.
Right.
Okay.
The second best player in the world.
And it's absurd. And what you built there is absurd. You've got 4 Hall of Famers running around out
now,
there.
they do deserve credit because they put the foundation in place the right way through the draft, where it made it an attractive destination for Kevin Durant.
Who's denying them credit by calling what they built absurd? It's absurd.
It is.
But watch what happens, because they're going to get defensive about this. We did this the right way. Yes, you did.
Yep.
And I've got no objection to what you did. But what you built is an absurdity. It's a nuclear absurdity.
But it's also kind of a way of saying it's too easy, right? That's why they'll get defensive with it, I think. It's absurd.
Well,
it's too easy.
adding Durant does make it that. And if that's the only criticism you get for winning the next 4 championships, shut up.
Yes.
Like, adding Durant does make it that. It makes it too easy, obviously. All I'm stating is an obvious truth that is then being manipulated into an insult.
Do you think if Golden State could go back and do last year over, meaning they win the championship but don't get Kevin Durant, do you think, armed with hindsight, do you think they take that exchange? Because I don't. In fact, I'm starting to think that maybe Golden State tanked a little bit last year in the NBA Finals. Because if they don't lose that series, they don't get Kevin Durant. And now you're exchanging one championship for reeling off 6 or 7 straight. I'm just saying, man. It's just I put things out there for people to think about. That's what I do. But I'm not saying it happened. I just put things out there for people to consider. That is Straight Talk. It is brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless, nationwide coverage on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks.
Take that out of your right nostril, please. It's back again.
What?
Just show it to Mike. Look. Oh, God!
Hey, buddy. The wait is over.
We've got Joe Harper in here. He's a polygraph specialist.
He's very intimidating. He's a nice man, but physically he's very intimidating, and he has a bullet in his neck.
The man, the myth, the legend, Joe Harper, makes his return June 21st for the second installment of Stool Eyes.
Are your apologies to Dan sincere after you make fun of his fat face?
Yes.
That'll be a no.
He said Stugats is the worst liar since O.J. Simpson.
If the Heat and the Knicks played in the Eastern Conference Finals, would you root for the Heat?
Yes.
Let's go Knicks.
Stugats, Joe Harper, collision course.
Were you really the big man on campus in college, as you have claimed?
Yes.
Oh, I think that's the truth.
No, it's not.
June 21st. You won't want to miss this, buddy.
Don Le Batard.
Dan, you're on Dueling Dragons. You're having the time of your life. All of a sudden, the roller coaster goes off the rails and you die.
Yep.
Was that fun?
I don't like roller coaster because of the risk of dying in a roller coaster. I don't want to go on any roller coasters because that's one of the possibilities.
Stugats.
You're eating a pastelito. You love pastelitos. This is a delicious pastelito from Casavana. So good. And then it gets lodged in your esophagus and you choke and you die. Was it fun?
It was fun while I was eating it, then it stopped being fun.
Right.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio.
As usual, Stugats has said a number of objectionable things during the show today. They've put together a montage of all the objectionable things that he said while I was gone. They will torture me with it later in the show today. I'm not looking forward to that because I try not to listen to the show while I'm away, specifically because Stugats consistently does stuff that enrages me, and there's not usually a lot of pushback. So they're going to annoy me here in the next hour. Also, among the annoying things he said today is that the Warriors dumped the finals last year in order to get Kevin Durant.
Smart play. And really, if that's what they did, very heady play.
I don't want to hear this again.
Okay.
So the other thing that he just said right now during the break, because right now he's missed me. And so now he's just giving me so I'm getting so many opinions during the break about the idea of Dan Gilbert trading LeBron next year if he knows that he's leaving. Trading LeBron. If you're Miami, do you trust LeBron enough to not leave when he's not under contract, or do you make the trade contingent upon you've got to sign an extension immediately? Or can you even do that in the NBA?
Well, you cannot trust that guy. There's no way Pat Riley does not trust that guy. So there's no way. And the reason we brought this up is because on Woj's Adrian Wojnarowski podcast, he was discussing that it's kind of a foregone conclusion.
Well, let's hear this in Woj's voice. Does Woj work for ESPN yet? Okay, let's keep it moving.
Welcome back.
Here's Adrian Wojnarowski on his podcast that is not an ESPN property yet.
Cleveland's unique in that they're almost again on a one-year plan because LeBron's free agency comes up again next year. And not only is there no guarantee he's coming back, I'm not sure there's an expectation he's re-signing there. I think within Cleveland and around the league, they feel that he's very much in play to leave again and likely head out west to one of the two LA teams. The Lakers could very well be a target. The possibility of Miami again based on how they, what that team looks like and where they are. Would Dwayne Wade go back there? But I think the focus, a lot of LeBron's, his business interests, his Hollywood aspirations, his media ventures are based out there. And I wrote this last year and said it and believed it. And the minute he won that championship in Cleveland, he was liberated to leave again.
That is not ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski.
Time to join up with the Crimson Raiders in Sanctuary. This glacier's full of
that is from The Vertical.
Yeah.
What? Wait a minute. What? Wait, no, now we're in it. No, now we're in it. If you guys are going to react that way,
you're in it.
No, we are in it.
I'm not in anything. I'm with you. I'm in it too. Okay,
we're in
let's do
it.
this.
No, look, you guys are reacting. I don't know. I was on vacation. I just came back from vacation. I was reading reports from before I went on vacation that after the finals, reports, Adrian Wojnarowski headed to ESPN. I don't know what's true. I don't know what's not true. I just asked John Air, because we do this show sloppy, and we do it by the seat of our pants. I just asked the question, does he work for us? Because I was on vacation. It is an innocent question. Now, everybody reacted as if I said fire to the studio. I'm legitimately ignorant and admitting as such. I'm not trying to throw bombs here to bother people.
You said work for us yet.
Yeah, is the key word.
Well, but because I've read the reports.
Right.
Man, get out of here with that.
There's a lot of fake news out there.
Right. Don't you think we would have told you? Don't you think? We would have told you.
No, why would you tell me that? I come off vacation, Dan, you're not going to believe it. Your good friend Adrian Wojnarowski now works at ESPN.
Yeah, it's something I would have told you, man.
No, it's not something you would have told me. You would have been too busy giving me your opinions on things.
That's true.
Would you like to listen to this voicemail from Bob Einstein?
Yeah. So here's the backstory on this. Adam West died on us. He's a friend of the show. He was 88 years old. People are accusing us that the show is cursed, that we kill people because Bill Paxton has died after being on with us, and Alan Thicke has died, and Lemmy from Motorhead has died soon after being on with us, and Adam West was just on with us. And so Bob Einstein refused to come on the show, Super Dave Osborne. He leaves Allison messages saying that why.
Yeah, I called you back. I tried 3 times calling me with those stupid questions, but here's the thing. I would love to answer those questions because I would have a lot of fun, but I like living. It's one of my favorite things to do. Get up, breathe the air, have some breakfast. If I'm working, I work. If I'm not, I'm not. That's all. It's very simple. It's black and white. I don't like to bring color into this, but it's simple. And too many people have died.
And there you go. He thinks our show is cursed, and he's just got such a funny relationship with Allison. He's willing to call her back and talk to her.
Just not us.
He will not come on air. So people are wondering, before I went on vacation, we did that rapid fire segment with like 6 or 7 guests, and he was on the line, but he was just calling back to yell at her that he wasn't coming on the show. So at this point, we have to figure out a way to get him on, don't we?
Yes, but do you blame him for not coming on, honestly?
I think we kind of figured it out. Yeah.
So Woj doesn't work for us?
Dan Lebatard.
Yanni Adebabubu.
Stugats.
Giannis Adebabumbumbo.
This is the Dan Lebatard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio.
Guillermo, put that on the poll. Did Gene Simmons of KISS invent the devil horns hand gesture? Kiss will put their copyright on anything. They are the biggest prostitutes in the history of rock and roll. So, we're going to get in a second to Stu Gotts and all the things he said while I was away. I'm not looking forward to this.
You went away to avoid the things I was saying.
Also, LeBron James has a no-trade clause. He is one of the few players in NBA history who has a no-trade clause. Dirk Nowitzki, Carmelo, LeBron. I'm forgetting somebody. There's a fourth.
Garnett had one.
Okay. So not many guys get no-trade clauses. So that that eliminates the possibility of Dan Gilbert realizing that LeBron's going to leave and trying to trade him to Miami, and Pat Riley having to pick up the phone and figuring out whether or not he can trust that LeBron being traded to Miami will stay.
He can agree to the trade, though. They got to run it by him.
Right.
So back in play.
No. LeBron's not going to go anywhere that he doesn't want to go.
Well, he might, but I mean, I think Riley would do that, right? Like, he would trade just about anything to get LeBron back as long as he got the wink from LeBron.
I know, but what I'm saying is, do you trust the wink? The funny part about it is LeBron saying, hey, I'll come to Miami and I will stay in Miami. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Just, I'm most interested in the idea because it's an absurd idea.
If he was a great leader, he'd agree to a trade, get the best assets, and then go back to Cleveland.
Correct. But Miami doesn't even have those assets. The assets right now that you need are not in Miami.
They gave them all up from the last time they traded for LeBron.
Do you realize that the way for LeBron to actually build the super team that compete with Golden State is to do that and trick somebody out of their superstar?
Right.
Like, trick somebody so that you can put him just next to everybody else that you have there.
Or draft picks.
Yes, like, just...
Listen, I've always loved Sacramento.
Yes.
It's where I've always dreamed of ending my career.
Sacramento doesn't have the player, but Indiana. I'd love to be in Indiana. Just me for Paul George, straight up. That worked for everybody? Good. And then just run back to Cleveland.
Philadelphia, Ben Simmons, Embiid. Let's do it.
Philly would be
funny. So let's play for the audience here before we get to Stu Gotts' montage of things that he said. So Woj doesn't work here yet. This Foot Locker commercial is funny.
Oh, that's great.
And this is the way for the balls to do this. Be self-deprecating. You can neutralize a lot of anger with just making fun of yourself. And I've said all along that I feel like LeVar Ball mostly is in on the joke.
Even better when your son's making fun of the dad. I mean, It's just so well executed.
Yeah, now there's a lot of players in this, and even though you may not know Lonzo Ball's voice, you'll get which one's Lonzo Ball.
They're all straight men, and LeVar Ball is, again, the star of this commercial. It's very smart. Without even being in the commercial, LeVar Ball is the star of this commercial. But this is funny. It's funny what they did, and it's what they should be doing. If you want to dilute the anger, the way to do it is be self-deprecating. So it's a Father's Day commercial, and the other voices are also high draft picks. None of the other voices matter. The only one that matters here is this is a commercial about the balls.
With Father's Day and the draft so close together, Foot Locker asked us to reflect on everything dads do for us on our journeys to the NBA. Dads are special. So many memories. All those games of one-on-one in the driveway where he let me win. Just never missing a game. Of course, there's that big day when your dad berates your high school coach in front of an entire crowd for not getting you enough touches. Waking up early to drive to all those faraway tournaments, or that special moment when your dad sits you down and tells you where you're going to college. Copyright your name to make it a part of a family lifestyle brand. Went on First Take and shouted back and forth with Stephen A. Smith about how you're already better than the reigning league MVP. All those interviews from the stands during college games, the public spats with the all-time greats, soundbite after soundbite to the national media, and then tells 29 out of 30 teams to not bother drafting. And fishing. We went fishing a lot.
It's a funny commercial.
So great, man.
I don't know. Foot Locker.
Yes. I don't know much about the kid because the kid hasn't talked a lot, but that really made me like him, you know? It did.
Texter writes in, Gene Simmons invented being a bleeping tool. Put that on the poll, Guillermo. Did Gene Simmons invent being a bleeping tool? And does Gene Simmons also add this to the poll? Does Gene Simmons think that he invented having a long tongue? So here is some of the stuff that Stu Gotts said while I was away. I'm cringing just thinking about it. Go ahead.
I met Rob. I did.
You met Rob Kardashian.
Remember I went to California last year with my family? We were...
You were hanging out with Rob Kardashian?
I was waiting with my daughter outside his house, and he just happened to come out.
Wait a minute. Wait.
We were walking the dog.
Whose dog?
My wife's cousin's dog.
Okay, I'm on it. So, did you see Rob or you met Rob?
I said hello to Rob.
Did he say hello back?
No.
It's not a meeting.
It's not a meeting.
I also hid a couple of houses away and waited for Kylie Jenner to come out of her house.
Oh, Kylie or Kendall? Or can you tell?
It was who's dating Tyga?
That's Kylie.
And Ken Jeong was in the gym with me. What? Ken Jeong. He was doing the treadmill. I was doing the elliptical. And I only went on the elliptical to try to spark up a conversation with Ken Jeong.
That's the only one I believe out of the three.
It's the saddest thing I've ever heard. It's true. I'd cut my own head off if I were bald. See if there's gold in there. I like money. I always bring a second shirt. You never know what's going to happen to your first shirt. You might spill some coffee on it. It might be raining outside. I always bring you go into my car right now. I have 2 shirts hanging in the back seat. I do. Always bring a second, occasionally a third shirt. As I was driving in and pulling into the parking lot, I saw Guillermo walking across the street with a big, oversized umbrella. I feel like you pack up your entire house when you come here every day. Like, you just...
It's a bit much. Yeah, I have a giant bag that I have with all kinds of stuff in it. I mean, if we went through it, you'd be amazed at all the stuff I have.
Can we please go through it? What's in the bag?
Let's see. I took out my lunch already. I showed you that.
Okay. I don't consider the pinky to be a finger. Put it on the poll. Is the pinky a finger? I could do without the pinky. Kind of gets in the way sometimes. Pinky. Matt Bonner joins us here. You love sandwiches, huh?
The hell were you guys doing when I was away? So that was the show, just Stugatz's thoughts plus rip Kevin Durant?
Yeah, pretty much.
You did a segment where you just went through Guillermo's bag?
That segment of the week.
It was really good.
That was really good.
15-minute long segment.
He's got
and he wasn't even all the way through.
He's got a lot of stuff in that bag, man.
I am so conflicted on this because it's funny, and yet what gurgles up inside me is how Stugatz doesn't try.
Oh, that was me trying.
You like sandwiches? Asking Matt Bonner, you like sandwiches?
I did mock myself saying it's the worst question ever asked in any interview setting ever.
The first question to Matt Bonner, you like sandwiches, huh?
He does a podcast on sandwiches.
I'm telling you, like, I'm not Bobby Fischer, okay? But being checkmated by this bleeping gorilla every day on being rewarded for not trying.
People love me, dude. I don't know what to tell you.
I'd cut my own head off if I were bald and see if there were gold in there. I like money.
Doesn't belong to you, so why don't you turn around?
Just dawned on me, I'd also be dead.
This train was commandeered legally under the... Holy...
Rich. Uncle Fatty, Blue Waterwall isn't going to pay for itself.
Not only dead, also disappointed because there's not gold in there.
Don Lebatard.
Look at him. Just what are you doing? You're leaning
Stomach
back
hurts,
in your
man.
chair, rubbing your belly.
Yeah. I mean, as Dan pointed out, I was left to my own devices all weekend, man. It was awful. I mean, it was just terrible. Some of the things that I was consuming.
Stugatz.
I baked cookies at like 11:30 one night. Little Haagen-Dazs vanilla ice cream. Oof. That was after 18 chicken wings. And I washed it down with some Toll House cookies and some milk.
Aren't you leaving some consumed stuff out? How do you get to the point that you're eating this much?
This is the Don Lebatard Show with the Stugatz on ESPN Radio.
Mike Tyson going to join us in about 15 minutes. If you missed any of the show, you can listen to all 3 hours of the Dan Lebatard Show on demand in the ESPN app, plus our Miami Only hour that airs before the show. And now you can subscribe to our Best of podcast. It's all available in the Listen tab of the ESPN app.
We never know where that's going to end up. So Mike Tyson is going to join us in between 10 and 15 minutes, and it's usually pretty unpredictable. And we are looking forward to that. We're going to see if we can get Fat Joe told us his story. What are you laughing about, Mike?
All of us are looking forward to it. He's a dangerous guest, man.
Yeah. He is dangerous.
He's a dangerous man and a dangerous guest.
As dangerous as it gets, right?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't know if he's going to start cursing.
You just don't know. You don't know what kind of...
I got a pretty good idea.
Right.
Inevitably, it'll happen.
Yep.
And then he'll disappear for about 14 seconds. And then hopefully he doesn't do it again.
Okay, so 15 minutes from now, we will give you some Mike Tyson. Hopefully he will be there. One of the things that I do find interesting about Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather fighting is most people, this happened during the finals. The finals got big ratings, at least in part because you were tuning in to watch LeBron lose, many of you.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama sometimes gets big ratings because you're tuning in rooting for Nick Saban to lose. I don't know who you're rooting for to lose in this fight, but many of you are going... Floyd Mayweather has made a lot of money in his career because you watch his fights hoping for him to lose. I saw an MMA video. Have you guys seen this? This happened, I don't know, a week ago, 10 days ago. You guys love watching people humble. And there was an MMA fight I saw, not a main one, not a large one, where a guy got hit, and after he got hit, he shook his head no. That didn't hurt me. And while he was shaking his head no, the guy kicked him in the face and knocked him out. And then stood over him, nodding yes. You root for that to happen to one of these guys in this fight, right? You want one of them humbled because the way they're going to sell this fight is with such an overwhelming amount of arrogance and unlikability. The both of them.
Right. I think most people probably, for a number of different reasons, want Mayweather to be humble. Like, what happens to Conor McGregor if he actually wins this fight in terms of stardom? What happens to him if he actually wins this fight?
That's why it's no lose for Conor McGregor.
Right.
It's no lose. He's making a ton of money. He's fighting a boxer who doesn't knock many people out. And if he loses the fight, even in boring and unsatisfying fashion, he's going to say, well, why? How did you guys not know? This isn't my sport. I'm not a boxer. Your fault.
What have you done?
I'm going to go back to this stage where I'm going to make less money.
I'm really good at it.
And it's going to be more dangerous. Like, this is sucker's paradise. We're already hyping this fight for free all over ESPN and everywhere else. And this is the American consumer and sports fan at his most suckerific.
I'll tell you what, I'll give it some more thought.
I mean, congratulations. You're a fool if you buy into this fight. A fool. Intergalactically stupid to give Conor McGregor your money for this and Floyd Mayweather your money for this.
I'm giving it to him, man. I'm telling you.
I know. A lot of you will. I don't blame you. You want to be a part of the spectacle, and the beauty of fighting is puncher's chance.
I don't want to miss if Conor McGregor actually connects and knocks Mayweather out. I don't want to miss it.
But here's what I'm telling you. What I'm telling you is if you made me bet right now, and these were my only two choices, Conor McGregor wins or Max Kellerman is right and Conor McGregor doesn't land a punch all fight. I'm betting won't land a punch all fight. So that's what I would bet. And then you're going to watch that, and you're going to have paid for it, and you're going to be miserable about the fact. You're going to complain afterward that you paid for it, because you thought Pacquiao was bad. Pacquiao is a world-class bleeping fighter.
Filipino.
Mike Tyson, next.
Don Lebatard.
I don't like when, like, big-time celebrities, they get so big and then they're going to write a children's book. It's an easy cash grab, and quite frankly, I don't need Jack White's advice on how to raise my children. It's annoying. Sorry. Jack White, please. Let me tell you, the last place I'm going for children advice, for child advice, for parenting advice, is to Jack White and his stupid book. Jack White.
Stugats.
And honestly, who is Jack White? Pretentious Jack White. Hey, I'm going to fire up a children's book. Tell you how to parent your kids. Leave me alone. Just write new songs. Stop writing books. Write new songs.
This is the Don Lebatard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Mike Tyson expected to join us here in just a minute on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Here's your SportsCenter update. Opening round U.S. Open is underway. Ricky Fowler on fire, man. He's your leader. 6 under par through 12. Tommy Fleetwood and Patrick Reed, a stroke back at 5 under par. New York Mets starting pitcher Matt Harvey will be examined by doctors Thursday for what manager Terry Collins calls a tired arm. I'm tired of him. And finally, Childish Gambino, The Roots, Chris Rock, Erykah Badu, Trevor Noah, and Ali Wong have signed on to join David Chappelle, his run of shows at his upcoming Radio City Music Hall residency. Gentlemen, hurry into JCPenney and raise your game with 50% off suit separates and dress shirts designed by Michael Strahan, and get up to 40% off MSX activewear, including big and tall. Save even more with a coupon for $10 when you spend $25 or more on select items. That's getting your pennies worth. JCPenney. For all the latest headlines and information, tune to the Sports Center on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
I thought Childish Gambino was done making music as Childish Gambino. Was he not?
He's going to do one more record, and then he's going to retire Childish Gambino, which leaves the door open to do another music project.
Chappelle has figured things out. Chappelle is turning. You mentioned a Radio City Music Hall residency.
Yep.
He has now flipped all of this in a way that is fascinating, because he went from bailing on Comedy Central because he felt like it wasn't white people laughing with black people, it was white people laughing at black people. So he bailed, was tired of making money for others, turned down $50 million, leaves a very popular show at the height of its popularity and heads to South Africa, and now is doing it on his terms, totally on his terms.
With the people he wants to
right,
be doing
and
it with.
he's just throwing parties. Dave Chappelle is just throwing parties where his excellence is being celebrated. We enjoy talking to this guy every time he's on. He, for his time, was a fascinating personality, as fascinating as anyone in the history of sports. He's got a new book, Iron Ambition, available now. Check out Mike Tyson's Mysteries, Sundays on Adult Swim, and Superhuman, Mondays on Fox. Again, Mike Tyson with us on ESPN Radio. Always a pleasure, Mike. Thank you for making the time for us.
Hey, man, how you doing?
Excellent, sir. Thank you. I know I every time we've talked to you, I know about the only thing I know you to get consistently emotional about is Cus D'Amato. And
yeah, that's why I wrote the book, because the book is telling you what kind of man he was and what kind of man he made me become, and that's why I had such an affection and affinity for him.
Can you explain to us, Mike, what your life was like before Cus came into it?
Well, it was just living in a drug-infested, gang-infested neighborhood with no hope. Welfare recipients that lived in condemned buildings. It was really hell.
And so what happened? Before the age of 13, what age did you meet Cus?
And 13.
Okay, so before the age of 13, how many times had Mike Tyson been arrested? Do you know?
I've been in a lot of trouble, yes.
But do you know the number, Mike, or no? Because I'm wondering what was, and I don't mean to press you on this. I'm wondering what it is that Cus inherited.
He inherited like 30-something arrests. Oh, now when you get like that, that's he inherited hell.
Okay, and so how willing were you to take his advice at the beginning, or were you rebellious?
Well, I had been in reform school with Bobby Stewart for a few months by that time, so I've learned to be very respectful. So I listened to what he had to say.
Okay,
so I started doing. Oh, go ahead.
No, excuse me. So you were respectful. So you had already learned to be respectful. You weren't looking to butt heads with him.
Not at all.
And he wouldn't have allowed it anyway, would he have?
No, he was an awesome guy.
So
he didn't take any crap.
And so can you give us an example? Again, the book is Iron Ambition, My Life with Cus D'Amato. Cus D'Amato really helped Mike Tyson get himself together. Can you give us an example early on of something that you did that Cus wasn't having?
Well, you know, he didn't. He really didn't enjoy me having bad times in school. I didn't do well in school, and he didn't enjoy that.
And so how did that go generally? Were you bringing home a report card? Were you afraid to bring home your report card to Cus D'Amato?
Oh, yeah. Sometimes I would go to the mailbox before the postcards even got there, the report cards, and I would try to rip them up.
I did the same thing, Mike. I got to be honest with you.
I'm telling you the truth. I was a real kid back then.
All right. So you would do that, and would he find out?
Oh, he would find out because they would call. And, man, he would rip me a new butthole.
Okay. And so, you, what did...
You did the same thing.
I absolutely did, Mike. Yes, I absolutely did several times, Mike.
How would this work, though? What do you remember about Cuss's decision to become legally your guardian?
Well, me and him had made that decision with my mother. And my mother made that decision.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I thought that happened after your mother's death. Your mother decided.
No, my mother was still alive. My mother and Cuss made that decision.
Oh, can you tell us about that? Is that something you cover in the book, Iron Ambition, My Life with Cuss D'Amato?
Well, I wasn't at the conversation, but my mother said, "This is what you want to do?" And I said, "Yes, this is what I want to do." Because right after meeting Cuss, right, spending around a couple of months with Cuss, I went home to visit my mother. I was so overwhelmed with being the heavyweight champion. I think I irritated my mother.
How so? What happened?
Because I was bragging so much, because that's all Cussner was telling me, that I was the best fighter in the world. And I had won 2 national junior championships, and I was just full of myself. And my mother was like, oh, she didn't like that. She pulled away from that.
Where was your confidence level before Cuss?
It was really low. Really, really low.
You do a lot of introspection. You do a lot of reading. Can you give us some self-awareness about why your self-esteem was where it was before you had Cuss's love in your life?
Well, there was nothing I ever saw was a crime-ridden investment, drug-invested community. No, I felt unsafe most of the time in my youth. So that was a big change in my life.
How did Cuss help you with confidence?
By winning fights and passing my grades in school.
But Mike, there was a time there, I'm reading here, that you thought that you would never be a fighter. That wasn't in the plan for Mike Tyson. You thought you were never going to be a fighter. Is that fair?
Well, yeah, because I was getting beat. I was getting knocked out and stuff in the amateurs. But Cuss still saw something in me. I don't know what he saw.
What about in the street, Mike? How much fighting, given that you were arrested 30-plus times before 13, how much fighting were you doing in the street?
I was doing a lot of fighting in the street.
Were you winning those fights, mostly?
Well, not all of them, but I won most of them. I won most of them.
So how does that work, though?
How many fights did you win?
I was not someone who fought a great deal, but I won some fights. I retired on a loss, though. I got my shirt. I got my shirt pulled. What do you mean good? I got my shirt pulled over my head in the street. My ear was bleeding, and my shoe fell off. That was my last fight.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Give me your Mike Tyson lost a street fight. Give me your story.
I don't know. Some guy just kept punching on me, and I was scared to punch back. I was scared to punch.
When did you lose your fear of fighting?
I don't know, when I was around 11 years old.
Oh, so it stopped being something you were afraid of. Did you go looking for it?
No. I became a little bully, though.
Were you a good bully?
Not good at all.
No, I didn't mean as good as a person. I meant good as a bully. A bad person, but a good bully.
Hey, I wasn't a good bully because I got arrested 30-something times, so it must have not been good.
Again, Iron Ambition, My Life with Cuss D'Amato. Mike Tyson with us on ESPN Radio.
Mike, you love Call of Duty, right? You love playing that game?
Yes, that's my game.
That's your game. Do you talk trash to players that you're playing online when you're playing it?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow. Do you play as Mike Tyson?
Huh?
Do people know it's you playing Call of Duty?
No, it's Killer Mike.
Okay, it's Killer Mike.
They have an idea.
All right, no, but I don't know whether. Do you know whether it's Mike Tyson or not when you're playing against Mike Tyson in Call of Duty? I don't know.
I have no idea. I mean, Mike would know better. Mike, they have no idea they're playing against Mike Tyson?
No, just get some lessons. Just tell them to get some more lessons.
All right, that's teaching them. Again, Iron Ambition, My Life with Cuss D'Amato. Why'd you decide to write it, Mike?
Hey, man, son that he deserves.
Okay, because he was, he was your father. Have you Have you?
He's the reason why I'm talking to you guys, and no one even knows that.
Because you think your life would have ended before that, or you wouldn't have had success without him?
No success without him. Nobody could inspire me the way he could. Nobody. I don't care what Nuke Rodney, who it was. He couldn't inspire me. He knew how to inspire me to fight.
What do you imagine would have happened with your career, Mike? How would your career have played out differently if he had not passed away?
I don't know. Maybe I'd be still fighting now.
Because his loss was a setback for you, right? Not just emotionally, but also professionally.
Yeah, it's a whole deal. Real deal.
Mike, we appreciate you being on with us. Thank you. New book, Iron Ambition, available now. Check out Mike Tyson's Mysteries, Sundays on Adult Swim, and Superhuman, Mondays on Fox. You like the idea of this Mayweather fight against McGregor?
I think it's going to be fun.
Does McGregor have a chance?
I don't think so.
Yeah, because Max Kellerman is saying that McGregor will not land a punch.
No, he won't land the punch. It's going to be fun.
But that's it. Mike's got it right. Like, he has the right perspective. It's just going to be fun.
Yes,
that's why people are intrigued by it. Yeah.
Mike Tyson, you're an expert at fun. Mike Tyson.
Yes, I am.
Mike,
I am expert on fun.
Mike, you had a lot of fun. What was the time that was the most fun?
I'm not telling you.
Mike! Mike, what was the time that was the most fun? What year? Give us a hint. What year was the most fun?
I can't tell you. 89 was a good one.
89. What was going on in 89? Give us some hints.
No way, dude.
All right. I'm not going to push anymore. I know better. Thank you, Mike. We appreciate the time, sir.
All right, love, my friend.
Much love.
If I was the man I was 5 years ago, I would take a flamethrower to this place.
Much love, Barry.
He said, love, my friend, didn't he? And I said, much love.
Much love, yeah. Love you, too, is the normal response.
He didn't say I love you.
Yeah, but he also didn't say much love.
He said, love, my friend. And I said, much love. I'm giving him some extra love. What's the problem with that?
Yeah.
You know there's no one else we interview where I'm that actively scared?
Oh, sweating.
It's weird. It's weird.
Did we get good, Tyson? What did we get there?
It was okay.
Mediocre Tyson.
I mean,
Okay, Tyson.
Yeah, it wasn't like bad Tyson.
So Tyson?
So Tyson.
All right, so Tyson.
He laughed. He was affable. He didn't curse.
But
once.
laughed at strange times, though.
Yeah, coughed a lot.
Yeah, cough. Saying hello to someone at one point.
Guillermo, I'm looking at you right now. I want an honest appraisal from you. Give me 15 seconds of Guillermo's perspective. I think this might be a new segment.
How many more times are we going to do this with Mike Tyson?
But it's like wrestling. It's like wrestling an alligator.
You like the challenge?
Yeah, but I'm gonna get bitten. Like, there's nothing at the end of it. It's not gonna be woo. That was great fun rolling around with an alligator.
You don't have to use the alligator analogy when it comes to him biting people.
Right.
You're right. That's true too.
Like you have told us, anytime Mike Tyson wants to come on the show, just let him on the show.
Yes.
Are you sticking to that?
Always welcome, but by everyone but Guillermo.
All right, well, we'll stick with that. Much love.
All right.
Much love.
You can listen to the Dan Levatar Show with the Stugats 10 to 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio, and you can watch on ESPNU.
Just think, Dr. Zed. Let out. Try from me if you want to live. Who needs a medical license when you got style? I'll beat you up whenever you need it. After you've had your shot, stay alive out there.
Deploying sentry!
critical.
Stairs? I can't climb stairs. Let's find another way up. Oh, a crane. Find the controls. I'll wait here. Come on out, Flip! Your Claptrap unit has returned!
Let's turn up the heat!
I'm so sorry, Captain Flintstone! Please, don't burn me again!
How'd that feel, huh? Toss him a little later. Commando! Bring it!
You're the most fearsome warrior this treasure has ever seen!
Challenge complete. Nice. Ooh. Ah. I'm coming for you. Yeah.
Alright, now we just gotta get to my ship! There she is! The mighty vessel! Lower her to the water, you salty dog! And now, to set sail for Sanctuary! Let us set sail! Is that job I sent you on going okay?
That's that.
We're near Sanctuary, buddy. You go on ahead. Tell the locals what we'll require for my welcome back party. I'll stay in here. Give them time to get what we need.
See my hat? It is the hat of a gentleman, and yet it's missing something, some je ne sais quoi. I think some bullymong fur might do the trick if you could bring me some. To harvest bullymong fur, you'll need to rip it from their hides with your bare hands. Just weaken a bullymong with gunfire, then finish him off with fisticuffs. Safehouse power box stopped working after Claptrap attempted to... Just get up the keys for the elevator and ignore what he said about that power box.
Want to meet my girlfriend?
addition to making for a spectacular hat decoration, I shall study the fur for my almanac about the creatures of Pandora. That sample will do admirably. Find me a...
Ooh, are you collecting bullymong fur? I love that stuff. It's soft, warm, and really good at absorbing robot tears. Once you're done collecting all the fur, why don't you bring it to me instead of Hammerlock?
I overheard Claptrap asking you for the bullymong fur you're collecting. As I fear he would do something irredeemably stupid with it, like make a mohawk out of it or something, let me sweeten the deal. If you bring me the fur, I shall give you one of my finest sniper rifles. Simply ascend to the safe house and buy a ship. There seems to be a sizable hump of resistance since the rebels have heard the Hyperion army approaching and fled the sanctuary.
Save your golden life. Set out. Who needs a medical license when you got...
Well done. Now, if you return to Liarsburg, we can see about getting you off this frigid connections.
Sentry!
Him off with a melee strike. I apologize, I wasn't clear enough. You see, you need to kill the bullymong with a melee attack in order to harvest its fur. Sure, you could try to steal the fur from a bullymong's dead body, but where's the fun in that? Legibly unreasonable requests. Oh,
so, Hammerlock wants to give you a sniper rifle. I laugh at his offer. Ha! If you bring me the fur, I'll give you a bet.
Wonderful, you've gotten all the fur I need. Bring it to me and my sniper rifle shall be yours.
Screw that noise! Bring me the fur, and I'll give you a shotgun!
so fantastic. You'll help the Kung Fu stand far more badass than you do. Would you like to battle with a Southern Shelf and defeat Midgemong for me. The answer is no, you are sad.
That from me, if you want to live. Be careful out there.